You have a very soft voice.
It is an incredibly soft voice, no doubt about that. That's why
these aren't ASMR.
you just got to kind of on the microphone a little bit sometimes for me.
Okay, before we get into it, I want to point something out because people are going to be a little weird.
Okay.
I just so happen to be wearing the same shirt that I wore last episode, but we haven't recorded in probably a month.
Yeah.
So I do change my clothes.
I was probably wearing this jacket. I very well could have been wearing this shirt too.
There was a big chunk of the podcast where you had worn your favorite gray jacket like 10 episodes in a row.
I haven't worn that for a while because it's just been in that closet. I forgot about it. Yeah, I love that jacket. As soon as I broke it, I went online and bought a replacement. Exactly the same. One for one the same. I love that thing.
I don't know if there's anything that I have that's like that where I had bought the same thing again.
Immediately afterwards.
I guess socks. Do those count?
Yeah. I did it like back when I was in high school. That's how I used Converse. I'd wear them out, then I'd immediately turn around and go buy a brand new pair.
Of the exact same one? Like
I
same
mean,
color?
sometimes I changed color, but there was a couple times I went back-to-back colors. This is Talking Rad. Welcome. Episode 193 of SESX. I mean, Talking Rad.
We're almost episode 200.
Yeah, we're doing it.
Just a few more years because we've been, doing like an episode every 6 months.
Oh, I guess I could have turned the little camera thingy around so we could see it, but like, Sky, you got that red light. If it goes off, let us know. I don't think it will. So, I just had this like weird realization today. Recently, I wouldn't say addicted to because I don't get them all of the time, but recently I've been excited about a new drink store where I get drinks. Skylar knows very well about this. Drink I typically go for is a champagne Mountain Dew flavor, and it's effing delicious, but that's not what I'm trying to talk about right now because it's just kind of like the segue into this other thing. So the champagne flavor / smell is what I'm getting on. In our bathroom, I have my soap from Bath and Body Works called Champagne Toast. For some reason, dumb Cole brain was activated for probably over a year and a half at this point. No, just a year at this point. Basically, since I've bought this flavor of soap, and I've always just been like champagne toast. I guess you could have toast with champagne.
Yeah.
This guy thing.
Yes.
It literally wasn't until moments ago when I just got done using the bathroom and washed my hands and went champagne. Oh, toast.
I have a similar yet adjacent story of like my brain could only think of one word, like even though the word had multiple meanings, and I cheated. This was back in 3rd grade. I still remember this because I felt so guilty because I got 100 on this test. It was a spelling test where it was the word buy.
But you spelled it B-Y?
Yeah, it was B-U-Y, like you're
you're
buy
buying something.
But I spelled it B-Y-E, like goodbye.
Goodbye.
All I could ever think of was goodbye. And then what I did is I walked up to, you know how they had like the paper trays that the teacher, like you could.
Dude, everyone did that.
I
promise you.
I walked up and I saw that there was a gamer that spelled it correctly. I was like, oh, dummy. And like, I did I forgot to put my name on it. So I went back to my desk, changed my answer. My name was already on there. Come on.
Dude, how many people just brought their pencil with them?
Probably a lot of them.
I think I've done that once, at least. I brought my pencil with me. I'm like, no. This is what I did. I'm almost positive I did this. I brought my pencil with me, and I probably tried to play it off because I forgot my name, but I brought my pencil with me, and I left the answer that I needed to answer blank. Yep. So I walked up there ready just to cheat right on the person. Like, all right, got it. Yeah, my name's on there now. Promise. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I definitely cheated. I felt really
actually,
guilty.
There's funny a connection. So in recent events.
Oh, Thane, can I pause for half a second? This is just the way you speak. I'd like you to put your mouth closer to the microphone.
Like this?
Well, okay, so you can see, look at their waveform. So when you're just talking, you're kind of like this. Like, see how my waveform's so little right now? But now that I'm closer, it's much larger.
Yeah.
Just try to be more conscious of that because it really makes the audio levels
I'm
funky.
cutting this out.
You have a very
You're gonna cut this out.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, I want everybody to hear about the behind the scenes though.
You have a very soft voice.
It is an incredibly soft voice, no doubt about that. That's why
These aren't ASMR.
you just gotta kind of on the microphone a little bit sometimes for me.
Slurp it.
So, speaking of misspellings, in recent events, the eclipse happened, and I hear about this thing called CERN. And I was like, CERN,
Yo, CERN,
like Steins Gate.
CERN, the Large
it's like-
Hadron Collider.
Yeah. And I thought CERN, like Steins Gate, but it's like, no, that's SERN. This is CERN. And I thought everyone complaining about CERN was like, wait, are they like trying to? Is this like some conspiracy? Are they trying to kill people for time travel?
That CERN is based off of that CERN.
Yeah,
Is
that's
it
what I
really?
thought.
Oh, yeah,
it's
They have the Large Hadron Collider as well. Like it's a real thing. That's where they ripped it off from. And
in other
mini black holes are real.
in
Dang.
other
Are you joking?
I'm not joking.
Okay, I'm just making
This
sure.
is a real Cole moment, okay?
Okay,
I wouldn't
okay.
joke about Steins Gate, okay?
in other visual novels in that universe, CERN is like the antagonist.
CERN's bad guys for some
Yeah.
reason. IRL, they're chill, I think.
I watched it was like the CERN opening ceremony. It was like weird, interpretive, dancey, freaky stuff.
Let's go, let's go.
It was so weird. I sent it to Jordan and I was like, hey, what do you think of this? He's like, I mean, when I was in college, they had interpretive dance classes and they were kind of freaky like this. And I'm like, oh, okay. So it just must be a normal thing then.
Oh, man.
But anytime I think of interpretive dancing, I think of that one dude that had like, he has like canes and then he's got a big rod on his wiener and he's just smacking a bar.
That was like a performance art thing. I don't
Yo,
know.
I saw this thing from Coachella literally yesterday. This guy pulled out his wiener and starts playing the piano with it. It was a dildo, but it looked like he was pulling out his wiener. And
That actually happened at Coachella.
yeah, real thing at Coachella. It showed up on my Reddit feed.
Yeah, all
Thanks, Reddit.
All I know is I saw a video of like people saying like it was a scam with the Hatsune Miku tour thing. That it was only an LCD screen.
And they wanted the hologram.
Yeah, they wanted the hologram.
I mean, let's be honest. Whether it's the hologram or a screen, it's still fake.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about this. This is a good subject.
Mind you, I'm a gamer that I don't know anything about Hatsune Miku, so I have no stake in the matter.
Yeah, when you came in says I don't give a shit about Hatsune Miku.
So I'll start this conversation explaining to you what Hatsune Miku is so that you can understand it. Hatsune Miku is essentially, in its base form, is a program that you can purchase that will, once you feed it lyrics and songs and like, the beeps and the boops, it'll play those beeps and boops in her voice, for example.
Yeah.
And it's literally a computer program that you can purchase, probably apply it to one of those audio mixing program things or something. I don't exactly know that, but
Yeah,
I know
kinda
that
like
it's a
text to
program.
speech.
Anybody can Hatsune Miku.
Anybody
Yeah.
can Hatsune Miku. It's free.
Even
well,
Alex was Hatsune Miku.
not
I saw.
free, but
Yeah, it's
you have to
like
buy
a-
the program.
Yeah.
How
and
much
then-
is the program? Do you know?
$60. I don't know. So
Oh, okay.
it's not expensive at all. But anybody can make Hatsune Miku songs. That's why you'll see a bunch of people on YouTube that this song featuring Hatsune Miku because they can just use that name because they can. It's not a big issue at all. And so that's the gist of what Hatsune Miku is. So there's tons of artists that have gotten very popular.
Yeah, like Yasobi, Deco 27.
I know. I actually know Deco 27.
You don't know Yasobi?
They're the Oshinoko
Yeah.
opening guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before one of the producer guy before he hired this singer when they became Yasobi, he was doing Vocaloid stuff.
And yeah, so Hatsune Miku is not the only Vocaloid. There's plenty of them. She's the most well-known one. But yeah, like Deco 27, they did a Pokemon song with Hatsune Miku as this big Hatsune Miku collab that they're doing.
So is there a actual person behind Hatsune Miku, like when she goes on tour, like what we just saw?
I don't
Just the
think
I
so.
think just the Krypton company. That
The
makes
company
it.
that
Yeah.
distributes the
So
software,
does
probably.
she have like
Yeah.
original music
yes.
she tours with?
Yes.
So there is a Hatsune, the
no,
Hatsune Miku.
No.
No.
There isn't. It's still the
There's
Vocaloid
There's
thing.
a voice actress they based her
Sure, yeah.
her voice off, kind of like what they did with Siri with that one.
So it's
lady.
not like the Gorillas. There's not a persona behind Hatsune
No,
Miku.
not really.
So what happens is when they go on tour and they have okay, let's start with the original songs. Somebody just makes the song, gives it to Hatsune Miku or the company that distributes Hatsune Miku stuff, and then that is hers now. So all these people making songs featuring Hatsune Miku, they're a little bit different because they're not owned by Hatsune Miku, they're their own thing.
Okay.
But so and this company probably hires out people to make songs for Hatsune Miku, and that's kind of how that shows up. But when they go on tour, they pull up a hologram, which is pretty dang cool in all reality,
I've seen
which
the
is sick.
hologram.
And then they have the hologram dance around to, like, essentially you're making a music video, but IRL is essentially what it is. And then they have the music playing in the background. So that's what you're going to a tour.
Sometimes with live instruments, there'll be people down there playing.
Sometimes
with
people do
live-
play.
Yeah.
And they just have the Vocaloid, like, AI audio thing. It's not even AI.
Like at this
It's
year's
not
Coachella,
AI.
they did have actual musicians.
It's literally, they're feeding, like I said, the lyrics and the song to the program, and the program is spitting them out like a printer.
Yeah.
So it's not AI by any
No,
means.
You have to tune it.
Correct.
Okay.
And so that's how you can do like live music, like Thane said and stuff. So let's talk about this. Now that we've gone through Hatsune Miku 101, we can now discuss this. I want to preface this conversation by saying that I think Hatsune Miku's fine. I like a lot of the songs. I've heard a handful of them, especially because of the Pokemon collab. I think some of them are bangers. I've been listening to one on repeat because I like it so much. As for going to see Hatsune Miku in concert, that's where I'm a little iffy on. Because I don't feel right about paying money to go watch something that isn't actually there.
I'm even more detached from it, knowing now that it's not even. There's nobody behind Hatsune Miku. That it's literally just a computer program.
Or like
Correct.
just the only thing behind is just the community of people who make it.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I'm even more
Yeah.
detached because it's like, who are you going to see? Like we've got Hatsune Miku at home.
Exactly.
I guess if you
Yeah.
if you want to see the cool
Yeah.
projector, like
Yeah.
that's really freaking dope.
Really cool.
And it's probably even cooler in person.
No doubt. And I'm sure it is. But, like, that's all you're seeing.
So if that's what people paid for, though, and that's why they're mad at Coachella, did they advertise?
Not just Coachella, like the whole this whole tour that was not made by Krypton and Crunchyroll.
Oh, and they're just not
Yeah.
doing the hologram at all.
Krypton Future Media is the people.
They're
who
just
made
throwing a
it.
TV on there.
Yeah, they throw a TV up there, and years prior, it's always been the hologram.
And, like, while the hologram is a nice step up, I don't really see the disconnect
Yeah.
personally. I feel like watching on the TV screen, watching on the hologram, I think it's the same experience in the
Yeah.
long run.
But the thing with the hologram is had like the full 360.
Is it
Yeah,
like a
it's
3D
sick
thing?
AF. It's
Yeah.
incredibly cool. Well, I just don't think that changes much because you know that it's not a real thing. You know it's not a hologram like Cortana is that can just jump
Yeah.
around places.
Yeah.
It's literally they're stuck here. And so instead of just being stuck here, they're stuck on a TV instead. I don't see, you know what I'm talking about now. But like I said, it's fun. I enjoy going to concerts myself. I like to watch bands. I think it's fun to see them play. But that's why I don't know about Hatsune Miku, because you're not watching Hatsune Miku play. You're watching these other people play the instruments while a YouTube video is more or less playing a song. And like, obviously, this is just like crushing so many Hatsune Miku fans out there. They are
Yeah.
foaming at the mouth to get up my neck and just rip out my entire entrails and all that stuff. And I get it. I'm sorry I'm bashing the thing you like. I love things you can bash. Please do so in the comments. We love engagement.
Yeah, Yu-Gi-Oh.
I love Yu-Gi-Oh! It's a terrible game. Don't
Yeah.
play it, but bash it in the comments. Thank you. Yeah, and so that's my thoughts on it. I don't know.
I'm with you. Like like I said, learning about it now, I'm even more detached because I remember when I first got into the Gorillas, I'm like, this is really dope. And then I looked at one of their live shows, and it's like, it's cartoon guys playing on a TV.
Yeah. You go to Skrillex,
persona.
you just see a guy behind a desk, essentially.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't even have to be him.
Doesn't have to be him because he's got a helmet on.
It's called Marshmallow.
I think that's Deadmau5. I don't think Skrillex wears a helmet.
Oh.
Marshmallow.
Yeah, I
Deadmau5,
was thinking
they wear
Deadmau5.
helmets.
I was thinking
Deadma-
Deadmau5.
Oh,
My bad,
Marshmallow's
not
even
Skrillex.
worse. Like It's probably not even the original guy they started with. It's probably just some random guy every time.
Yeah, could be.
Yeah.
I think the closest relation from a Vocaloid that we can make is with a VTuber.
Yeah.
But VTubers actually have a person behind them, like exactly what you were getting at.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I would be much more inclined to go meet a VTuber than I would be to ever meet Hatsune Miku, because Hatsune Miku's not a thing.
Yeah.
She's literally like...
She's like an idea. And
She's
not a
she's
person.
Yeah.
a literal Chizuru. She's
Yeah.
a freaking Master Chief. You know, they're not real. Whereas a VTuber is a real person. That's just a persona. But that's the same thing. You go see Robin Williams. He's not Mrs. Doubtfire. He's just Robin Williams, you know?
Yeah.
You don't see Will Smith as the Hitchcock.
iRobot guy.
iRobot guy.
Hancock.
You see... Yeah, Hancock, excuse me. I was thinking Hitch and then Hancock smashed her together Kevin James style. And not bad. You get what I'm saying, though. You don't see their character, you see them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing with a VTuber, in my opinion. Granted, you will probably, if you do see a VTuber, they're probably being their persona, and they're probably not even going to be in person. But I think some of them do that. Some of them probably do IRL meetups, so...
I still like that more than Hatsune Miku.
Totally. That's exactly where I'm going for, yeah.
So, like, when these fans, are they a fan of the singer? Are they a fan of the music itself? Or are they a fan of the character Hatsune Miku?
I would assume character as someone who doesn't know anything. I would just assume character from outside looking in. What do you think, Thane?
Character, I guess a character. You can associate a character to it.
I personally
But-
would feel ripped off if I went to a concert like that.
Even with the holograms, I would
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
same. It's just like...
But that's what they advertise. That's what you're going for. It's like, oh, hey, it's going to be a hologram.
Oh yeah, these
Yeah.
people that are going, they know what they're
Yeah.
getting,
Yeah.
and that's where it's just a don't yuck anybody's yums
Yeah.
moment. Like people like what they like, and
Yeah.
that's completely fine.
Well,
I mean,
but-
I pay money to play basketball, and I know
Dude,
a lot of people would be
I
like,
play-
that's such a waste of money.
I pay money to open up packs of cardboard just to throw them in the garbage 2 seconds later. So I literally throw away money.
We
So
all
like
do.
I get it.
Yeah.
I understand throwing away money. So like I said,
So the
Don't yuck
crux,
yums.
the crux of the LCD versus hologram thing is that someone on Reddit said, "Hey, do you think I made a petition to get a full refund for the tour they had because they did not tell us that it was just going to be an LCD screen, not the
did they
hologram."
advertise hologram for this tour?
I'd have to look into that.
If
but
they advertised
yeah.
hologram, then I think they'd have a case.
Yeah.
If they didn't advertise hologram or didn't advertise anything,
Yeah.
then I don't think they have a case at all.
Yeah. And some people saying, oh, this should be a class action lawsuit. And someone did try to file a lawsuit. And I don't know how far it's going to go. So I don't know the legality. I don't know the advertisement. But there is one thing where people reported, say, hey, the VIP tickets that I bought, they didn't even do what they were supposed to do. And I'm pretty sure you can sue them for that or get a refund. Because you're supposed to get in like an hour early, and they couldn't even get that.
Oh.
So if the VIP people who paid extra money for that is getting screwed over, that's where I have a problem. The other stuff, I don't know. If they have a case, then yeah.
But at that point, though, is that the venue's fault, or is that the team behind Hatsune Miku's tour? Like, there's a lot more
Yeah.
than just bitching about
True.
not getting what you want.
Apparently the entire tour just had the LCD screen.
Here's a thought. What if and this is kind of like deviating a little bit, along with LCD screen, what if you could download an app that would upload the Hatsune Miku onto your phone that mirrors what's on the LCD screen so everybody can have her up on their phone? That'd be kind of cool.
I guess.
That'd be one step up,
but
right?
that's still like Hatsune
reminds me of
Miku
the
at home.
Domino-
I still think it's dumb,
That reminds
but I
me
think
of
it's a
That
step.
reminds me of the Domino's app that they had in
Yeah,
Japan.
dude,
with
let's get freaking that one guy.
Yeah.
What's his name? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Shout out to Nick Robinson. I learned all about that. It's a fun saga if you've not seen that Nick Robinson series, the Domino's Pizza Hatsune Miku stuff.
Yeah.
It's like a 4-part video, dude. It's fun. Anyway, good stuff. I was gonna segue to something, but then I remembered I don't have anything to talk about. Thane, do you have something?
I guess I could bring back something, and recently I've been modding my consoles, some of them, and I've been thinking of jailbreaking my PS3, and that's because I agree with people, including Moonerhart, what they say. If you buy a piece of hardware, you have the right to do whatever you want with it.
I've seen plenty of videos of people smashing their Xbox 360s.
True.
Yeah, they could do that. I mean,
Smash
it's a waste of money.
PS3.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, I think if you want to put homebrewed software on there, you should do it. I don't think the company should be mad. Yeah, they could be mad people make it, but
It's not illegal, right? Because you're not
it's not
distributing
illegal.
anything. You're just modifying something you own.
yeah, you're not modifying online gameplay. You're not modifying the.
There's one thing that I think they could get you on, is a lot of these homebrews modify the actual operating system that
Yeah.
you're on, and you do not have the right to modify operating systems that Nintendo or Sony has made.
Yeah. So yes. All the mods and all the homebrew jailbreaking stuff, I have not modified the OS at all.
No.
Yeah.
You haven't.
Oh, yeah.
But the people that made these mods that you can put
Yeah.
on there probably have. And that's
Yeah.
where it would be a legal thing. That said, I don't think that even matters. Let's be real. Let's be completely frank. We all know why people want to mod systems. 100% of the time, they're doing it so they can play these games for free.
Yep, I did. Well, I did it because there's no legal way to get them anymore. Nintendo shut down everything.
Sure.
And
But what about the remasters?
like if they have remasters? But there are a few games, slant few games that I can't play anymore. So I did it for those few games.
I completely agree with you, and I think you're a
Yeah.
great person, Thane. The world is not great people.
I know. Like I don't care about the world. Like I just it's a selfish desire of myself. Like
Yeah.
if
Well,
they-
I don't even think it's
Yeah.
selfish. If you can't get them, that's just a...
yeah, that's like a Nintendo.
You're doing what you can at that
Yeah.
point.
And of course, being Nintendo or any company, they have not said that, oh, we'll bring these back in a later date. They can just remain silent and people will just mod your console. There's no support for it left.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like I think that you should totally be able to mod your console if you want. The companies get mad.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate and also a little about what I actually believe and think about this subject. I agree that you should be able to mod your stuff. When it comes to actually just downloading ROMs and putting them onto your system, that's the gray area that I don't know if I can get on board with completely.
I mean, I know it's not morally right. I just do it because it's there.
If it's a game that you already own, I feel like it's okay.
Yeah, and then like all these consoles, you can dump the CD. Like I tried to dump Xenoblade, but my storage was too small. Also, it's like the biggest game on there. So
Yeah.
Could you ever foresee companies selling ROMs, like Nintendo selling their ROMs?
Well, it's called the eShop.
Sure,
They would always 100% time make players for you to play these ROMs off.
Yeah,
of.
like the eShop or the
Or
little,
the little NES Mini.
Yeah.
See, and my whole thoughts on this too, and this also partially comes from just talking about it with Cole, is I have spoken many times about how much I love Xbox Game Pass and how much I'm a big fan of these subscription services because they put so many games on there and you're only paying like $15 to $20 a month to play all of these games, brand new games, old games, games that are almost unobtainable at this point because they're so old. So I see companies like Nintendo obviously getting on board with that because they've started Nintendo Switch Online, like that subscription service. And here's the thing, though, is a lot of people are like, yeah, but what about the old games that no one cares about?
You just answered it yourself.
Exactly. That
no one
cares about. No one's going to get 7 hot games on the Wii that you can play with your friends and family. Like, that's never going to Nintendo Switch Online because nobody cares about that game. Boom Blocks. Nobody cares about Boom Blocks but me.
That Nerf game where it's like a light gun Nerf game. Nobody wants to play that one.
No.
Games more in high demand are usually going to be ported.
Correct.
And that goes back to what Cole was talking about with remasters.
Then there's a slant few that aren't, like some Pokemon games still stuck on their consoles, but most of them have been ported.
No, that's not entirely true. Everything 3DS and before is not playable.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah. So if you want those ones, you can mod your console to get those games, and also Fire Emblem.
Well, hold on. I still don't agree with it.
Yeah.
The older I've gotten, the more I've been against the idea of it, just because like it just doesn't feel right in my mind. I guess I don't know the morals of it.
Here's my morality on it. They've already made their money and they're not selling anymore. I say screw them. I'll take them. I'm gonna take them because, like, if you're not offering it, then I'll take it. I'll get it somewhere else.
But like most people don't think that
damned.
way though. Most people think, oh, they're releasing this thing that I couldn't get prior, and I'm still just gonna play the free version that I stole from them.
Yeah, some people will do that.
No,
Yeah.
most people will do
people.
that. That's the issue.
I mean, I would do it too. Well, unless I'm already paying for those subscription services, so maybe not. But if you want to play Little Samson, you're not playing Little Samson without getting an emulator.
Correct.
Yeah.
Unless you're wanting to pay $1,500.
And I agree with that. And I honestly agree with emulating Pokemon games for the most part. Just because, like, they're ridiculously priced. You want to play Pokemon Black right now, you're going to be shelling out $100 for that game, which is a complete joke.
And you still might get a freaking pirated copy, too.
You might get a pirated copy if you're not careful. And it's a joke. It's an absolute joke, and I don't know the solution other than pirating. Unless Nintendo releases some way to play these games, which probably won't ever happen. And really, when it comes to these older games, I'm far more lenient on. It's when we get to the modern, current-gen games that people do that stuff.
If there's games readily available, I usually like to pay for them, like Stellar Blade, a game coming out.
Tears of the Kingdom.
If it comes out, I'm not going to pirate it because, like, right now it's too risky. Like...
Whoa, hold on. You just put a word out there for a second
like,
there. It's too risky or it's not morally correct.
Well, here's the thing. It's too risky. If it was convenient to pirate it, then, oh boy. But no. Well, also because, like if it comes out fresh, it's like I might as well support the developers. Like, yeah.
And I'm kind of with Cole on this one too, though. Like the modern new stuff, like, don't pirate it. They're making it as easily available. I mean, it's just a paywall at that point.
Yeah.
If you want to play something, like Thane just mentioned, you're also supporting the developers too. I think older stuff that's a little bit harder to obtain to play, I'm fine with that. I have never downloaded a like modern gen emulator. And with like the Nintendo Switch one getting shut down, everybody's freaking out about that. Like, I don't know.
See, that's the discussion right there.
Yeah.
That's what we're leading towards. Let's be real.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch emulator that got shut down.
Yeah. Also, and the hard truth is that you need to be like, there's a short window where these games can be profitable. Like when that window's up, like.
What's this short window? Define this window to me.
Think like
GTA 5, 10 years.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think there is a window. If they're selling it in stores, then that's the window.
Yeah.
If you can buy it brand new even, that's still within the window. You can buy brand new PlayStation 2 games right now on Amazon if you look.
I guess the window would be when they stop selling it.
Which may never happen for a lot of these.
Especially with digital games. Like,
correct.
What's the point at that point? Why ever take it off
there
of
was
the
one
shop?
game that not only stopped being profitable, is that they took it off because it stopped being profitable because due to copyright music, and that's Spec Ops: The Line. In fact, I checked.
It's no.
It's library because
it's not that it's not profitable. It's that the music license ran up.
Yeah, the music license ran up, and then 2K, they're like, "Oh, we're not making money off of this game. Why renew the music license? Just take it down."
Well, what?
Totally.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
Totally.
Like, and
but it's not completely that it wasn't being profitable.
Yeah.
It was profitable at one point.
No, it was never profitable. It bombed. The game bombed.
I'm sure they eventually evened out.
No, they never did.
You sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay. Well, they're dumb.
Yeah.
I still disagree though that just because the music license ran up is it's acceptable to take your game down if the music license run down. It doesn't you're not required to renew the license and pay all that money again just to keep your game up. I think that's silly that people get mad at that. It's just something you have to expect to happen if there's licensed music in a game.
Also expect if I didn't have a copy, expect me to pirate it.
Sure.
I don't want to pay $100 for a used copy.
No doubt,
Used copies spiked up in sales.
I agree with that as well. That goes back to being old games in general, though. Let's loop into this modern thing, though, with the Switch emulator. So, as it stands, emulating what a console can do is not illegal. But what you do and choose to do with these emulators can be illegal.
Yeah.
And that's the issue with them. And these people that made this Switch emulator,
They also made the 3DS,
the 3DS
emulator called Citrus.
they made this emulator and then essentially made a Patreon that you had to pay $5 a month to get into, which explained how to get games. And people wonder why they got in trouble.
By the way, you don't have to go to a Patreon to get games. There's a subreddit for free. You join for free. Tells you how to get all the games.
Sure, but I'm just saying.
You don't have to join a freaking Patreon to. I mean, unless it's like. Also, it's like that Patreon you join, you got early builds.
Yeah.
Early.
I think it's an issue.
Yeah.
I don't think it should happen. I don't think people should be promoting this or being paid to be able to do this.
I don't want to buy emulators. I don't want to pay.
No. Emulators should be free, sure.
Yeah.
I'm just saying the fact they're helping people get these games illegally, that's the big issue.
Well, and they're getting paid for it.
They're getting paid to help them get these games. And like Nintendo made a great point when they sued them. They said, "Hey, we probably lost out on like roughly $1 million due to the sales of Tears of the Kingdom, because that game leaked. I think it was 2 weeks before launch, and people were able to play it on these emulators. Those people, I have no doubt in my mind, they did not purchase this game, because why would they? They literally got to play it, and then when the game came out, they got updated, for free.
Yeah.
That's an issue. That should never happen. Nintendo, in my opinion, was completely in the right to go after these companies that were creating emulators specifically for modern stuff.
Well, they won the lawsuit, so obviously they were.
No, they didn't. It wasn't a lawsuit. They just settled.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But here's the statement they made afterwards. Like, I'm paraphrasing here, but it's like, Nintendo came after us. We took it down. We are completely against piracy. Pinocchio nose grows.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If they were, then they wouldn't be promoting it in their own Patreon.
Yeah. Like,
it's silly.
You're capping with this statement. Like, we're against piracy. We know to do the right thing and take it down.
It was probably part of their settlement to say something like that.
It's like the lawyers told them, "Hey, write this."
But that's where I stand on it. I think it's a complete joke that people think that this is okay. I think people that go, "Oh yeah, screw the big companies, screw Nintendo. They're the ones that are the bad guys because they're the big guys." No, they are not the bad guys here. Sure, Nintendo does a ton of terrible things and ruins a lot of hard work from many people. This time, no, they were definitely not the bad guys. They were in the right completely.
Well, it's their own stuff. You're essentially stealing their stuff. You're bypassing them
before it comes out.
Before it even releases.
Yeah. Now we're not saying that Yuzu was the ones responsible. That was someone else. I don't know who leaked the Tears of the Kingdom thing.
I'm pretty sure you could have gone through their Discords and found it.
Oh yeah,
though.
you could have.
The fact that it was on their Discords and like you could find it through their Discords, they are also a part of the problem.
Yeah.
I don't think they are faultless, which is why they got fined as much as they did when they
Wasn't it
settled.
several $1 million.
Something. And then, like, what was it, a year or two earlier, that dude that went to prison because of the similar stuff? People were mad at Nintendo for that, too.
The messed up thing about that is that, so he was part of a group, and he was just pretty much like a low-end chain guy.
The scapegoat, essentially.
Yeah, scapegoat. And because Nintendo couldn't get the other ones since they were in other countries, they slapped him with and, like, I don't know, that's pretty harsh, like, for just to get random guy and that pretty much
not random guy. He was also fault. He also did things that he should not have done.
I know, but that's a lot of money to like.
Sure.
Yeah.
How much money did Nintendo
I don't think
lose?
it's right that Nintendo did that. That's my opinion.
That's fair. That's a fair opinion. I disagree, but I think that's a fair opinion to have.
Like that guy's pretty much gonna die in debt.
I definitely see it as like a.
Nintendo legally owns a white man.
It's what's the word I'm looking for? They made a example
an example
Yeah.
out of him.
out of him saying, listen,
Yeah.
don't do this, or this is the consequences. I wonder how many people it scared away.
Well, it's just still, in my opinion, I think it's completely silly. These people think they're gonna get away with literally
Yeah.
breaking the law,
Right.
And when they get caught,
They're
the people that broke the law are the good guys. That makes zero sense to me. How is that? That's completely ass backwards in my mind.
I think that people, especially consumers, that get really upset about something like this is put
It's
yourself
a lot
in,
of. I'm pretty sure it's a lot of anti-corporate mentality.
Sure.
Yeah.
And I think corporates are a big problem at times. But when they're in the right, you have to accept that too. I think.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
Like I was saying, is people need to put themselves in the shoes of, let's say, said corporate company. Let's say that this is your company, and you're losing this much, like X amount of dollars, because people are bypassing you with your own product.
I got it. You set up a lemonade stand, okay? Some guy sneaks up behind you while you're selling to a customer, reaches up on the counter, grabs some lemonade, runs over and gives it to his friends.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and makes money on top of that.
It makes a couple dollars. He's like, bro, I got the secret lemonade product. You want some of it? I got some. Two weeks early.
Imagine you're just some Indian guy running a 7-Eleven, then some punk teenagers steal candy bars.
Well, you got to own the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
You can't just be
Yeah.
working there because you don't give a crap if you're just working there.
Well,
You
at
own
that
the
night. You're the
7-Eleven.
owner working the cash
There you
register,
go. There you go.
and then they just steal it. Yeah, you want to go confront them.
Yeah.
You wanna,
But the thing is like, you steal from
That's gonna fall
Walmart,
on you.
same things. You steal from anywhere, you're gonna
It's the
get
same
in
thing.
trouble.
It baffles my mind that people think it's okay to do wrong things to big people.
I wonder if
oh
it's
yeah, that
because
Indian at the 7-Eleven, not the stealing part. The Indian at the 7-Eleven, that's actually true. I went to a 7-Eleven one time. And there's a guy playing Indian music, and I don't think he spoke a word of English. I just put my stuff up there. He's like, and then paid it, and then I didn't speak a single word of English to him.
I wonder if it's because we are the last decade anyway, probably since like what 2007 or 8, basically whenever Netflix became digital, and I guess with that generation of consoles, they started doing digital releases. I wonder if it's just that whole transition from physical to digital that everybody forgets that's still, even though you're buying a digital thing, it's still a thing that can be stolen. And you shouldn't do that.
You wouldn't download a car, would you?
See, that's another thing too, though. Is like, this isn't new. The companies have been advertising that all the freaking time. With like, I remember popping in VHSs and they talked about the green screen thing pops up. Do not pirate.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. Like,
Well,
it's the age-old thing. It hasn't changed.
Let's slightly shift gears and let's talk about where Nintendo, in my opinion, is in the wrong for the stuff they've done. Things like shutting down fan projects. If the fan project is making $0 and it's
Yeah.
100% for fan stuff,
AM2R, baby.
I think that's completely fine.
So how do you feel about fans giving away mods they made for modern games like Breath
I
of the
dislike
Wild?
that. I mean, like, I don't
thi-
love it.
Honestly, I think if you buy a legal copy of Breath of the Wild and then run it in Yuzu and then mod it, that's fine.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, like you want to play as Minecraft Steve with like Link in a Minecraft Steve outfit. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think there's a caveat. I think that's the one where if Nintendo wants to, honestly, if Nintendo wants to get mad, it's in their legal right to get mad about any of this stuff. And I understand why they would, because it's all about protecting their IP. That's why Pokemon is one of the biggest things that they go after for fan-created stuff. A lot of the times, because this fan-created content becomes something that is sold later on. I don't know how many ROM hacks have literally been somehow stuffed into a cartridge that are sold at some conventions or online and stuff.
Yeah.
I even own one of those cartridges, for example. And so, like, Nintendo doesn't want that. They want to protect their IP. But at the same time, I also disagree with them shutting down fan projects in general. Even if it's modern stuff and they're going through a somewhat legal method if they already own the game and so on.
Right now on itch.io, there's a Star Wars fan game. That's right, I said Star Wars, not anything else. About where you play as a stormtrooper crashed on Endor, and there's a bunch of dead stormtroopers, and they become zombies. I was like, okay, this is a cool idea. How long before Disney shuts this down?
Yeah. Could be soon.
Also, the cool fun fact I found is that it's a real virus called Blackwing, I think, in the Star Wars canon. I was like, that's cool. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Star Wars, Disney would shut it down soon if they caught wind of it.
Which is in their complete right to do so. And sure, it can suck, but if a company wants to protect their IP, I think it's completely all right for them to. I don't think it's a great practice for fan relations, but I think if they want to, they can. That, like I said, that's where I'm kind of more lenient as opposed to straight up theft.
Well, let's be honest here. In all reality, taking the entire pool of gamers, I feel like it's a very small minority that really is upset about this emulation business. Most gamers are willing and happy to pay for things that they like, especially Nintendo's brand new video games, even some of their older ones with like Nintendo Switch Online where they're porting it and bringing it, trying to make it accessible. I think what I really like about this emulation business, not talking about like the modern consoles and stuff, but you always hear people say, especially collectors, video game preservation. And I think with the transition that we're going through right now from physical digital to strictly digital in the future, I'm sure we'll see it in the next, 5 to 10 years where there won't be any physical media anymore. Maybe you can buy a box with the box art and the digital download code.
Yeah.
But
I love the idea of video game preservation.
you'll probably just get those cards at Walmart instead of the, they got
the little
code cards.
card stand and the code.
It'll be that instead of a game wall. It's a code card wall.
Oh man, those would get stolen quickly.
Well,
they
have to be activated when you buy them.
But see, at that point, it's like, why go to Walmart when I can literally just punch in my credit card?
Sure. It's more like, hey, little Jimmy likes this game. Let's get it for Christmas.
It's more like it's a gift. It's a gift thing. But also, like, most people are probably have accounts, so they're probably just gonna gift it on Christmas. Like, here, champ, look at your account. There it is.
Unless Grandma Susan doesn't quite get that stuff. She just knows Jimmy likes the little block characters.
Yeah.
She bought you V-Bucks instead of a game.
Yikes.
Oof. I could imagine the future grandma sues kid for getting V-Bucks instead of Minecraft.
The grandma asked for V-Bucks for Christmas and she didn't get them. She's on a rampage now.
I think going back to this, kind of wrap up this discussion, I guess, is I always hear people say there's a lot of nuances around it, which there are, but I still feel like there's a big black line drawn in the sand that everybody knows they shouldn't cross. And they freak out when people do, and
they're trying to justify crossing that line.
You're trying to justify illegal activity. And I just can't in my brain. Like, I don't look at these people as Robin Hood. I look at them as like they're
dangerous
just doing
territory
illegal
when you're
activities.
Doing it. It's very dangerous territory in doing it, and I did cross that line. But it's more the area that Nintendo's probably going to not have their drones be eyes on as much. They probably will if they peek their heads over it. If their drones peek their heads over, I'm picturing it like it's a freaking sci-fi novel, but that's what it feels like.
And it's like everybody does things, right? I'm not gonna be the one to call out blame and not show that I also have blame. Sometimes I go a little faster than the speed limit, you know? That's just one small thing. Everybody does things. And
I remember you got Call of Duty, the Black Ops.
Yeah. Because I wanted to play Black Ops 1 and 2 on the PC, so I just found them digitally online.
But you could also throw that out there of, well, I own them physically.
No. I was completely in the wrong for doing this.
Sure, but
I have easy methods to pay for them.
I've seen people say that, though.
Oh, yeah, they're wrong. I was in the wrong. I'm not trying to say I was in the right at all. I know what I was doing was wrong. I just didn't feel like I wanted to pay $60 for a 13-year-old game.
Sure.
Another line we've crossed over is using CD key sites. You're not buying them from the legit source.
So that one's weird.
And you trick it. Like, yeah, they might have bought a CD key and then sold it. Like, that's called.
Do they buy them on sale?
I don't know how that works, dude.
In bulk?
I just know it is against terms of service to be doing that.
I think they have they probably have two accounts and they gift the account and the code has that account and they just copy that code and put it on the website. I think that's how it does it.
I have no idea.
Because whenever you gift a game to your friend on Steam, at least, it's a code, and they put that code in, and you get, or they go into stores and just buy up a bunch of codes, put that on the website. That way,
it could literally be people get these code cards like Thane's talking,
code
and
cards.
they just work at Walmart and just scan a bunch of them and just walk out the store.
Yikes. Going back to what you said, though, you said I didn't want to pay $60 for a 13-year-old game.
Just like the little Samson.
Right. I'm the same way, and this is why I'm incredibly heartbroken that physical media is vanishing into the abyss, because still, right now, I can get on eBay and look up old games, get them for $5 or $10 used, and get them, pop them in my consoles, and I can play.
Sure.
That is going away, where we will have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 in 15 years still being sold for $60.
Yeah, and on sale for maybe half the price.
From what I've seen, that game is not worth $60.
I'm saying the current Modern
Warfare. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's
what he was saying. It's not worth $60.
Not worth $60.
It's barely worth the $45 I paid.
Yeah.
I mean, I think I've put probably 15 hours in.
I will literally only put time into it because we've got our buddy who just asks every night to play.
Just freaking shooting up, dude.
I watched a video on the campaign, dumbest campaign in Call of Duty ever. It's like, wow, like the writers were not thinking with that.
Let's be honest though, aside from I guess you saying how good the Cold War campaign
Cold War campaign's banging, dude.
Modern Call of Duty campaigns are dookie.
Yeah, they don't care.
Modern Warfare reboot, like the original 2019 Modern Warfare, was a fun campaign
that
too.
That one was pretty fun.
That one's banging as well.
But on contrast, the Modern Warfare 3 campaign just didn't care. They just like, yeah, this happens. Let's write that.
I think they got hit with we're not going to do
Crunch.
yearly releases. Oh, just kidding.
Just kidding. Make
Crunch.
a game.
Yeah. Bust down with the
Yeah,
gavel.
they said they promised. I don't know if they promised that, but they said that. It's like, oh, we're not going to do yearly releases.
Well, what's a promise to a
yeah.
big corporate company?
Yeah.
And now we're going back to the companies being the bad
Now,
guys, right? And that's fair. I think this one's fair.
Remember
if there's one thing to blame companies for is that.
Remember when
that sucks.
343 was like, oh yeah, we're going to make sure that this new Halo is going to have couch co-op.
And then and the kicker is like, we can't do couch co-op. The kicker, someone found an they didn't even mod it.
It wasn't even a mod. It was
they found an exploit in the code to do couch co-op.
I think it didn't work properly, like 100%. But yeah, you're not wrong, Thane. It's
like,
very funny.
yeah, and then someone probably could have modded it so it could work fully.
I'll tell you guys my biggest problem with big companies right now, specifically in the video game industry, because that's probably the one I consume the most. I'm fine with what Nintendo's doing, protecting their IPs. I'm fine with companies doing that. Where I'm really upset is when they release half-assed products or half-baked for full price.
Now Nintendo is the one that doesn't do that.
Sure, right. And
Most of the time.
Don't you want to give Nintendo your money, though? You're like, wow, guys, you made Tears of the Kingdom
just,
a fully functional 100+ hour game, and you gave it to me for $70.
Yeah. I would say what's half-assed is the hardware. Well, that's a little harsh.
What are you comparing it to?
The Steam Deck.
Steam Deck?
Sure, but
Steam Deck came out like 5-6 years later. So
sure, but the Switch works fine.
No, yeah. I'm just saying that's what I'd compare it to, but it's kind of a hard comparison because it did come out like 5 or 6 years later than the launch of the Switch.
Yeah. But that could change. Let's see what the Switch 2 has.
I've always been because I've watched lots of videos of people bitching and comparing about the Switch's hardware and how old it is. I understand, but I still have played some incredible video games on the Switch, and I have a great time.
It's just it's just talent. Oh hey, we got this to work with. Yeah, let's make it work.
My biggest issue is not that the fact that the games I've played are bad. It's the fact that the games that I've played could be so much better if we had good hardware.
Yeah. Imagine Tears of the Kingdom at 60 frames with shaders.
You keep the
Some
same
RTX.
You literally keep the same exact graphic style for every one of these games that have already released. They instantly perform 2 times better than what they currently do.
Yeah.
And yes, you could do things like shaders.
If you're running it off a Switch emulator, guess what? Here's a fun fact: Yuzu's not the only one. You can run that at. I've seen people run Tears of the Kingdom at 60 frames.
Yeah. It's definitely a thing that's limited by the hardware, and it's very sad.
I
But-
hope one feature Nintendo has is that they have some Switch games actually enhanced by the new technology. We've seen it done. PS5 does it. Xbox Series X does it. I'd love to see Nintendo do it. Maybe. I don't know.
I think the ultimate nail in the coffin is just like every time Monolith Soft release Xenoblade Chronicles 1, 2, or 3 on a new console, every single time I will buy them right away
Yeah.
without question.
Xenoblade Trilogy.
That way I can play them updated
man.
every single time with
Imagine a
shaders.
remake of Xenoblade X on the new console. The open world looks better. It runs.
Well, it looks phenomenal
Yeah.
on the Wii U, surprisingly. So like that's even hard to.
Yeah.
I would like to see it at 60 FPS though.
Oh yeah, 60 FPS, like new textures.
Monolith, just let me give you more of my money, please. That's all I ask.
See what a good,
I think
what a
I
good
think
consumer.
Monolith should run
willing
the company.
to pay for the stuff you want.
I think Monolith should come in and be the head at R&D at Nintendo, because they know what they're doing.
Or maybe Nintendo needs to do a better job of like teaching people. I guess that's not really their job, but you'd think that they would want developers to be able to know how to develop for their console.
Well, their in-house development team is pretty dang solid too.
Do they teach other companies?
I don't know.
Probably not like a Game Freak. They're freaking working with sticks and rocks over there.
They're just their own.
They're building.
They think they're bigger. They think, oh, we're the money makers. It's like
They are the
They
money
are,
makers.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong.
no,
They
that's
are
it's
the
gone
money
to their heads.
makers.
Like, hey, we're the money makers. We could do whatever.
No,
we
I don't
want.
think it's gone to their head. My whole philosophy on this, I've already said it
Yeah.
100 times, is that Game Freak can't make games. It's set in stone. I do not think Game Freak can make solid video games. They just make good gameplay mechanics.
They need some help.
Like,
Yeah.
I've been getting
Here's-
more information on this.
Here's,
like,
here's
just
the funny
thinking.
thing. Or before that, just you have Bandai Namco come in. They can make a solid Pokemon game.
Oh yeah, they sure
With that
could.
little engine they made for those 2 Pokemon
Yep.
spin-offs.
They did Pokken, and then they did freaking
Yeah.
new Pokemon Snap, and they look gorgeous.
Yeah, it's like they made their own engine, and then Game Freak's like, yeah, we're just gonna use like some old engine.
Well, it's just like you go back to the history of Game Freak, and it's just blatantly obvious that nothing has ever looked like it could or worked like it could. Look at freaking like Pokemon Emerald, which is the latest release on the Game Boy Advance, and compare it to like Golden Sun. Golden Sun is night and day graphically. It's insane how good Golden Sun looks when you look at that pixel art compared to
Yeah.
Ruby and Sapphire.
Same console, right?
It's the same console. Ruby and Sapphire. Well, heck, even Black and White looks worse than freaking Golden Sun. And Golden Sun's a Game Boy Advance, and Black and White's the latest of the DS that they
When
made.
you said when you said Golden Sun, I thought you were talking like
Pokemon.
Pokemon Gold.
Oh, no,
Sun.
no, no.
Yeah, Golden
No, the
Sun,
game
the
Golden
JRPG.
Sun. Yes,
Gold,
the
well,
JRPG
well,
Golden Sun. Correct.
Yeah,
That
like
game
the-
looks so good
Yeah,
on the Game Boy Advanced. And like every Pokemon game has had issues. Generation 1, everybody was freaking hacking, glitching the F out of that game until their files were crashed. Generation 2 was more of the same. Generation 3, while it ran really well, I already just talked about how ugly it looked comparatively. Generation 4 was the worst games ever. Literally, I think Diamond and Pearl are the worst Pokemon games created. But then they turn around with Pokemon Platinum, which is the same game, but it's 100 times better. Still slow. Still freaking slow compared to anything else on the DS. Like, they put freaking Chrono Trigger on the DS, and it runs so much better. And you get little cutscenes, too.
Hey, you want to know a game that runs blazing fast? The World Ends With You.
Yeah, that's a DS game, too, dude.
I
That
put
game's killing
like
it.
500 commands per second, and the game runs fantastically. And that BGM is bumping the whole time.
And then you get to, like, the 3DS, you got Pokemon X and Y.
Then
But you
by
can
the
play
time I
Metal Gear
finish
Solid on it.
So here's the thing. I entered a Pokemon battle, and at the same time I'm doing a World Ends With You battle. By the time your Pokemon trainer throws out a ball, I'm done with the World Ends With You battle.
It's insane, dude. It's so slow. And Game Freak's just bad at making video games. They just make phenomenal
In fact,
mechanics.
same company, Square Enix, they put 2 full 3D Kingdom Hearts games on there that ran at least 30 frames a second.
I wonder how much. Oh, well, obviously they have a third stake in it, but I wonder if Nintendo could be like, "Hey guys, do better, please."
They don't need to. That's the issue.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
It's
Until
and
they
it's-
until they start selling really bad, which is
Never gonna.
So
happen.
here's the
happen.
thing. Here's the thing. And the reason why they get so much flack is just because of Scarlet and Violet. Like Scarlet and Violet were obviously put out far before they should have been. But it's because of all of the delays and stuff, internal delays that they had, the COVID stuff, all of the stuff they had to go through. If they were able to stick to their normal release schedule, I'm pretty positive it would have ran fairly well without as many bugs and glitches as there was, and is still to this day.
And ugly as sin, or do you think it'd still be ugly?
It would have been ugly as sin still. That's just Game Freak, though.
Yeah.
The next Pokemon game, like Generation 10, that's probably going to be, 2026? Yeah, 2026 will probably be Generation 10.
Still remember that picture of
You gotta let him
Oblivion.
finish talking.
Sorry.
I think Generation 10 will probably run well because it'll go through the development cycle. It may be ugly in some spots, just like they always are. There's going to be some weird, dumb game mechanics, and it's not going to look near as good as it could compared to other games on that console that it comes out on, because it'll probably be the Switch too. But it'll be Pokemon. Nothing's going to change.
Isn't there supposed to be one more Pokemon game for Switch, and that's the
Pokemon Z to A. I mean,
Yeah.
they could do another one for Switch, but who knows?
Maybe-
We just know of one.
Maybe
Yeah.
they'll do like a dual release if the new console comes out
I-
this year.
They
Sorry to
could.
cut you off, but I still remember that picture of Pokemon Arceus 2022, whatever year it was, and then Oblivion 2006. Like, what the hell? Like,
Oh, yeah.
like it just showed a normal forest with like a few trees back there. Oblivion had a whole blooming forest. It's
Sure.
like, what the hell?
Pokemon is ugly. There are some moments when you're looking at Pokemon and you're like, wow, why is it so pretty? This is
It's fu-
crazy.
and the
For
funny
the most part, they're ugly as sin, dude. They're so gross.
And the funny thing is, like, people called Oblivion ugly back then, and somehow it still looks better than Pokemon Arceus. I don't get it.
When I played Scarlet and Violet with the homies, yeah, like you're saying, Cole, there are moments where you're like, wow, this looks gorgeous. And then you're like, am I playing the N64? Like, look at these trees.
And the problem is with pictures like Thane's talking about is people take the worst for the best.
Sure.
So they take the best of Oblivion and the worst of Legends Arceus, and just to push their agenda, essentially. I'm not saying that Legends Arceus looks better than Oblivion. I couldn't even tell you what Oblivion looks like because I've never played that freaking game. But there's some spots in Legend Arceus that are gorgeous in my opinion. I think it's very
I'm going
pretty
to say
at
all
sometimes.
Bethesda games don't look that good.
You go into a cave and Arceus looks like you're freaking looking at a surface that's just a flat wall duplicated a million times, and you can actually see the spots where the textures are duplicated. It's so bad.
You can see where they didn't seam it together. You can
It
see
did not seem nothing. So they literally had their texture artists come in for an afternoon and say, give us something for 10 minutes. And they're like, okay. Didn't even think about it duplicating us to each other. It's crazy bad.
The thing about that is, like, it doesn't just come down to graphics. It also comes down to art direction. I've seen games with lesser graphics
Correct.
Pull it off beautifully. I'm pretty sure Elden Ring, I don't know what graphics it's probably just an internal graphics engine. It looks amazing.
Well, no, I mean, like,
Yeah.
I hate to be the guy that's beating the dead horse, but Xenoblade,
Yeah,
always looks
Xenoblade.
phenomenal because the art style and the art direction is so
Isn't
good
that,
for the
is that
console.
also like a in-company engine that they use?
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it is.
Like they know how to work it. Like Nintendo does have in-company engines. I don't know. I'm pretty sure there's a few games that run on Unreal. I can't tell you off the top of my head what they are, but like it's like certain companies just know how to work with what they've got. Game Freak doesn't have that.
Well, they just never have that. They've never had that. That's
They've
the issue.
never had that.
It's a bunch of boomers running this company.
Yeah.
And when they get new people to show up, they teach them the old ways, and they stick with the old ways because that's all they know. They have great ideas, though. These new people coming into this company have phenomenal ideas, and that's why we get phenomenal gameplay loops and gameplay mechanics. That's why Pokemon battling is one of the best. I honestly think that some of the best JRPG battling in all video games, because like we even see it have like a competitive scene, for example. It's so in depth. But man, their games are bad. Holy cow, their games are bad. Trust me, I know. I buy every single one of them like 17 times for some
You're
stupid
part of the
reason.
problem.
No, I know I am, but like it wouldn't matter if I'm a part of the problem or not. They would be making these games good and bad regardless because they just don't know how to make games. And there's no reason for them to learn how to make them better because it still works. It's not like the next Pokemon game bombs, they're going to all of a sudden change their formula. That's not going to happen. They're going to keep their formula the same because that's what they know. They don't know anything else.
I mean, I think that the core gameplay, I could change a little bit, as it does from what you've said from game to game, but it still keeps the core. Just why not make it better, make it prettier, make it
Yeah.
run better.
Because they don't know how. That's what it comes down to. They just literally do not know how. They get some phenomenal artists. There's some really good artists at Game Freak, but when they gotta smash them together with the terrible game development, it just doesn't work as well. Like you should see some of the freaking concept art for like Sword and Shield. Ooh, it's cool looking, dude. It's sick.
There have been several indie games that have been like 1 to 3 guys, and literally how they made it, I don't know, compared to like a bunch of old Japanese men, several hundred development team like Lethal Company, Pizza Tower.
Oh, those are
Content
bad
warning.
video games though.
Look at the one.
I'm just
the
kidding.
one the one that you played, all made by one guy. Where it was like they made one, and then they think they made a second one. I can't remember what it's called. Just shooter.
Bright Memory.
Bright Memory.
Bright Memory,
Made
yeah,
by
yeah,
one
yeah.
guy, right?
That was a big asset flip though. There's a lot.
Yeah,
of
he
assets.
just
yeah.
bought a bunch of assets like on Etsy or
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah, it
Forgot
was like
about
I
that
mean
part.
the guy made
He
it playable.
stole some too.
Oh,
The guy made it playable.
Yeah, I guess that's different than creating stuff from
Yeah.
scratch. But speaking of scratch, that's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Scratch.
Scratch.
Did I get the
Well,
little itch?
thank you guys for listening to our rant.
I will force these guys in the next 2 weeks to make an episode. Sorry about last week, but we're lazy.
We hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Remember, Helldivers 2 is a terrible video game. I hope you guys have a great one. Keep it rad.
Fuck you.